Okay, so guess who's really driving the conversation about California wildfire aid? The Plutocrats. What a surprise. Let me explain. Right now, you're going to have to stay with me a little bit because this story winds and turns a little bit, but it leads right back to lining the pockets of billionaires. All right? So, we've had a giant wildfire in Los Angeles. You know this. It's going to cost somewhere between $20 and $40 billion. People are suffering. I'm talking to them every day. I know these people. They are suffering. It is a desperate situation. This is the kind of time when the government steps in and says, here, let us help you. The federal government provides aid in these situations, right? But Republicans have decided to try to withhold that aid until they can get something in exchange. Because that's what you do, right? When people are suffering, sure, that's what the Good Samaritan did, right? That guy lying on the side of the road, he said, what are you going to give me before I help you? I'm being sarcastic. Anyway. So at first they were saying, well, Democrats just have to promise to change their policies before we give them this aid. But that was kind of a feint. That was just a bluff. What they really wanted was buried a little deeper, but now they're saying it out loud. What they really want is for Democrats to agree to vote with them to raise the debt ceiling when that comes up very soon. And you'll remember that raising the debt ceiling is the way we increase the amount of money that the United States government can borrow. And we need to do that because our government consistently spends more than it brings in. Republicans like to yell about the spending part of it, and that is part of it, but the other part is what we bring in. And under Republican administrations, we always bring in much less because they cut taxes for the very wealthiest. Remember that under Donald Trump, our deficit went up more than under any other president in history save two. And that is because of his huge tax cuts, which disproportionately helped the very wealthiest and corporations. Now, Republicans want to renew those tax cuts, which are about to expire. They want to renew them, but that's going to cost a lot of money. So what do they need? They need to raise the debt ceiling. They need that to go smoothly and flawlessly because they know they are about to blow up our deficit. There are certain Republicans who don't want to vote to raise the debt ceiling because they hate spending. They never complain about tax cuts, but they like to complain about spending. So Trump and his people know, well, we're going to need a few Democratic votes. How can we get it? We'll extort it. We will hold hostage people who have lost everything and are desperate. And that is what they're doing. And that, my friends, is, in a nutshell, what we are going to see every step of the way during this presidential administration. And it is your job to make sure people know this. This is a plutocracy, ruled by the very wealthy. The wealthy few. There are just over 800 billionaires in our country right now. 13 of them are in Trump's cabinet. Income inequality skyrocketed during Trump's last administration. It skyrockets under every Republican administration, and it is going to get so much worse. And yet, what they're focused on right now is being allowed to raise debt limit so that they can cut taxes for rich people while still cutting programs that you and I need. They're still going to do that as well. These are the very sick people who are running our government right now. But the one thing I don't want you to fall for is, oh, it was the Democrats' fault and we're just withholding aid because, Gavin Newsom. Bull. Okay? Open your eyes and see the plutocracy at work. And then call your representatives and tell them to knock it off because we are the United States. The government works for us. And aid to any American should not be conditioned on anything, let alone getting rich people richer. Please help us fight.